Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It is Pal Ponder on Weather, coming to you live with severe weather coverage this afternoon. It is Monday around 5:20. So we're coming on live here because we do have some storms that have convected around North Texas and portions of Texas. We talked about it this morning. There's a kind of a stalled frontal boundary, essentially kind of draped across the DFW Metroplex. And that was the focal point for later on this afternoon. Well, we actually got a little bit hotter than what was anticipated. Actually, it landed at 97 degrees at DFW. And earlier this morning, the dew point actually spiked to 78 degrees dew point. And that was the initiation point of sorry, someone just texted me. That was the initiation point of very superior mass. In fact, it actually broke a daily record for the highest dew point and the second highest dew point in May ever. That just tells you the environment that you're in right now. And so right along that convergence zone, right after we hit convective temperature, there were some supercell thunderstorms that started to fire. And that's exactly what unloaded. And you can see we had some isolated pockets of quarter-size hail. But the largest hail so far was, in fact, some golf ball size hail that just about 20 minutes ago or so in and around the Cockrell Hill region. This activity has formed along the front, but it's also moving that east-southeastward trajectory. And that is always indicative of the largest hailstones that comes out of this situation. And so that we have to be concerned about. It is one of those type of atmospheres that it is a larger hail producer this afternoon. So it's an isolated case, very isolated, but we are going to be seeing, several numerous supercell thunderstorms that kind of break out along this region. So we do, in fact, have a severe thunderstorm watch in place for much of North Texas, as well as into Central Texas and going back into South Texas, essentially, aligns all the way to essentially the Del Rio region, to San Antonio, to Austin, back into the Hill Country, as well as into the Killeen and College Station region, going and back into Waco, those areas, and far as into East Texas, and going back into the Dallas-Fort Worth region, and does extend all the way up to portions of Denton and as well as Collin County this afternoon. So this watch goes on until about 10 o'clock. So this is goes about 10 o'clock time frame. Now it does have a pretty significant larger hail producer. So right now I'm concerned with these supercells that have actually trended more east-southeastward trajectory, because the atmosphere is very capable. You can see the watch here, very capable of producing some significant hail out of these deals. Now, of course, these are just going to be on isolated cases, but the atmosphere does have the potential to go up all the way to 3.5 inches in diameter. So you can typically get that with something that, that has a cloud top of over like 60,000 feet or so. And that could unfold today. So with those supercells, some of those could be turning into some significant wind gust of 60, 65, 75 miles an hour at the peak. And then also you can't roll out a tornado or two within this environment. So it is going to be an isolated case, folks. So we're just talking about a couple supercells, but these couple of supercells have the capability of producing definitely some significant hail. And so if we kind of zoom in to some of these supercells right now, we do in fact have that severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable threat that does have some golf ball size hail. This is for southern Dallas County here. Does include those areas into Dallas County. That was the storm that was originated over the Cockrell Hill region. And that's the system that's moving southeast around 15 miles an hour. So a little slow mover. I don't really expect these to move very fast because they're basically converging right along that convergence zone, which is that cool front, that stationary boundary. So it's the combination of the heat today that the spike of to 97 degrees to reach convective temperature to break the cap. Then also the combination of the stalled frontal boundary, which caused the air to kind of converge right along that frontal boundary. And that's where we saw the initiation of that first supercell. And just the simple fact that the dew point was essentially the second highest ever in the month of May. So that tells you the environment that opens up the Gulf of Mexico. So when you have all those ingredients kind of come together, that's why we're talking about yet another severe weather event. And this could be one of those cases that this could be, the first to come of many really all week long, as yet we have another severe weather event tomorrow. And it's almost like on a daily basis with a very active week ahead for, showers and thunderstorms. And at times, those are going to be, turning severe. So if we shift further south, there is some instability further south into the Rock Springs region. We have several supercells further south as well. So let's zoom in down to the hill country. All right, so we have another supercell that just now kind of blew up across the Fredericksburg region. So that has some pretty significant rain as well. You can definitely see a lot of the purples kind of mixed in there. That's always indicative of very heavy rain. Yeah, that's one of these situations. The water content values in these supercells are going to be very high. So they have the potential to unload a lot of rainfall just kind of in a short amount of time, especially with the slower nature movement of these storms. So this one actually is moving a little bit faster further south because but nonetheless, it does have some 60-mile-per-hour winds, and at times it has the capability of producing some quarter-size hail as it moves across the hill country and kind of the heat of the afternoon. Hey, Miss Vicky, 101 in Eastland County today. Yeah, it definitely spiked. It actually got a little hotter than what they were talking about. It's always harder this time of year because obviously the ground is like really saturated. How much is that going to play a factor? Is that going to be able to keep the temperatures down a couple of degrees? But yeah, in fact, all it takes sometimes, there's been many events you actually miss it out like 1 or 2 degrees. This was one of those events that had actually hit convective temperature, which was 97 degrees, which actually wasn't expected to happen today. So this kind of like all kind of snowballed around noon. And then it really started to elevate around 3 o'clock, right when we actually hit convective temperature. And then we had our first initiation of the supercell start to form within the Dallas-Fort Worth region. That's when they produced that 45,000 foot cloud top, like I posted. And then once it reached over 50,000 foot, that cell went severe. And that's when they started laying down some of that quarter-size hail. And that just continued with that big hail core. If we kind of zoom in here, did unfold around the Cockrell Hill region of Dallas. And that was the origination of the supercell. And now it's moving that east-southeastward trajectory. And that cell is going to be heading towards essentially right over the Lancaster and Wilmore region, and right there southeast of the DFW Metroplex. And that's going to continue towards, into the Ferris region, eventually headed over to Walnut Springs. Hey, let me take these watches off. We do have some severe weather along the coast as well. So we are, that same system that we've been kind of talking about all week long has, turned severe along the East Coast. So we do actually have several severe thunderstorm warnings and actually some tornado warnings out here into North Carolina as we speak. So, and you can actually see this little hook starting to form on the south side of this supercell that's out here towards into North Carolina. So let's talk about this. All right, so this is another kind of isolated supercell that did pop up ahead into the warm sector. This is located over the Pinetown region. Now we're moved on into kind of the Morehead City region of North Carolina. This is moving eastbound around 30 miles an hour, and you can actually see it has a little hook shape trying to form on the southern side there. So this storm is actually pretty concerning as it continues to move east around 30 miles an hour. You can actually see the circulation there right there near the Pinetown region. That's moving eastbound around 35 miles an hour. So this is tornado warned. This is in the North Carolina region. So this is going to continue for the next 30 minutes or so as it's continued to be warned. It's always definitely concerning when we get some sort of feature on the southern side there where it starts to extend out on the southern flank there. It's got great inflow coming in off the south side. So there's kind of really not much to just disrupt this cell as it continues to race across to the east. There's probably not going to be much to stop these storms until essentially they reach off into the ocean there. So we got still about an hour or two left right out, right after you pass the Williamston region in North Carolina. This would be south of Highway 64. So we have several, tornado warning cells. These aren't confirmed tornadoes, but nonetheless, we still have to watch these activities for the next hour or two before this races offshore, because these storms are packing a punch. I mean, this did produce a 71 mile per hour wind gust right in Ward's Corner of Virginia here. So this is a pretty significant, mesoscale convective systems, kind of a more of a squall line, if you will, that's racing across, heading towards the Virginia Beach region. And so you can see we still got about an hour or two left to contend with some of those supercells before basically they just kind of move out into the open waters. We also have some activity further southeast into south of Atlanta here as well. So we have, a couple considerable severe threats that's highlighted over portions of Georgia. That has some 70 mile per hour wind gust as well and some ping pong size hail. So we have other severe weather out ahead. You can see where the cool front is. This is in the warm sector. But yeah, so they just now produced another fairly decent hailstone south of Dallas there. That was also in the Cockrell Hill region. So that continues to produce some larger hail as it continues to dive, further southeast. You can see the outflow of this storm. So we basically storm development formed right along this cool front here within North Texas. And now we had supercell development form converging right along this front, moving the east-southeastward trajectory. Now you can actually see this little boundary that's out ahead of the front. So that's pushed further south. That may be the focal point for renewed development trying to push further south. So typically they produce these little outflow boundaries. So you have the initiation of these storms. Now that they have formed, they're pushing out outflow boundaries, and that could be your next stage of the next focal point where storms are going to likely fire within this atmosphere. So you have the southern flank pushing an outflow boundary further south, and then you have the northern flank that's trying to push an outflow boundary further north. But it's really not much. It's this is very subtle compared to the southern flank one. All right, so they just extended that severe thunderstorm warning as this storm continues to push further south. So now it's only moving around 10 miles an hour. In fact, instead of moving that southeast trajectory, now it's basically moving that just due south trajectory. But this is for southwestern Kaufman County, northeastern Ellis County, as well as southeastern Dallas County. Those have a severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued over that severe thunderstorm that was located over the city of Hutchinson, Texas, continues to move further off to the southeast. It's got definitely some heavier rains, some lightning associated with it, and some 60 mile per hour wind gusts, as well as some $half size hail at times as this continues to push further south at about 10 miles an hour. So it's basically traversing right along the I-45 corridor. So this is Interstate 45. This is Memorial Day. There's probably a lot of people coming back from the holidays for the 3-day weekend. So yes, there's probably a lot more people than normal on Interstate 45 coming back from maybe the Houston or further south, just coming back after a long holiday weekend. And this is the last thing they want to contend with to try to make it home is a severe thunderstorm with, kind of blinding rain that has some quarter-size hail with it as well. But nonetheless, that is heading towards the city of Wilmer, and that's eventually going to be head towards Ferris, and it continue to moving further south towards Ferris, as well as into the Ennis and Palmer region over the next 30 minutes or so. And you can see this Garland storm, that's actually not moving very fast at all. It's actually not severe, but it's also training right along that boundary. This is where you could get some of these kind of isolated flash flooding setups when you have these supercells just kind of pop up and they have very light steering winds aloft, right? So they get just caught up in these just very light steering winds, and they just converge over that boundary to keep them alive, and they just kind of train over the same place. So those typically kind of rain themselves out eventually, but they can likely drop, an inch or two of rain in a very short amount of time. And that's probably what's unfolding, in and around off Lake Ray Hubbard. So hopefully these guys have got off the lake. This is around Lake Ray Hubbard. Obviously, this is Memorial Weekend. There's probably a lot of people out on their boats and just enjoying the holiday. This is the last thing they want to need with a severe thunderstorm with some higher wind gust come out of this situation. And downdrafts is going to be a huge concern this afternoon as well. So these are going to pop up and they're going to pulse down. So when they do pulse down, you can get some downburst winds that rush out from the higher levels of this supercell and race to the surface. Those can produce some pretty significant winds and just kind of blast at you and, kind of all at once. Yes, we do have several supercells into North Carolina, a couple radar indicated supercells. They are dropping some quarter-inch hail with them as well. And these are kind of moving to the east. We checked on this about 10 minutes ago. It did have a little bit of a hook, a little bit more concerning look to it. But now that has kind of subsided. The hail core has actually come down a little bit, so it's not as intense as it was. It's still showing some rotation with it, but nonetheless, this is another supercell that's heading towards, Johnson Cider region. This is just this is east of the Wilmington region in North Carolina. We did have some pretty significant winds right along Virginia Beach. You can see this squall line as this is racing across. So just about 20 minutes ago or so, we did have some 70-mile-per-hour winds into Virginia there. So those higher winds are definitely going to be impacting Virginia Beach here in a short amount of time. So here is the cell that's right now crossing over Highway 32 there into North Carolina. There is 17, the city of Wilmington, as well as into Washington. Some of your bigger cities are New Bern, but you can see it definitely has a lot of lightning strikes associated with it as well. But this has continued to move eastbound around 35 miles an hour or so. So it's going to be near the Winona area around 6:40. That's Eastern Standard Time. So at about 2 minutes or so. Pike Road around 5:45 or 6:45 Eastern Standard. I mean, Eastern Daylight Time, and Pungo around 6:50 as well. And that's also Eastern Time. So they did, in fact, we'll stay on here for a little bit. They did, in fact, continue to push this further off to the east. So, yeah, this is a considerable threat. So this is mainly kind of a wind threat, really. So it has some significant winds. The supercell that was located about 7 miles south of the Weeksville region, continues to move east around 40 miles an hour. It does have some fairly significant winds to it, peaking out at 70 miles an hour at times as this is racing across. So it's kind of a more of a straight line wind event with a possibility of an embedded, a brief spin up tornado within this atmosphere, but it does produce potentially up to some quarter size hail at times as well. You can see the kind of the bowing nature here that's coming out of Colombia and as well as Elizabeth City region. So this is why they extended the severe thunderstorm warning for about another 50 minutes or so, heading towards Kitty Hawk and Nag's Head. So once that clears that region, it'll basically be off in the ocean. So you still have about an hour left to be concerned about these supercells within North Carolina before these kind of just fall off, and there's nothing coming in on the backside. So you still have about 45 minutes or to the next hour to be concerned about these severe thunderstorms before they just kind of run out of real estate and they head out into the open waters of the Atlantic. All right, so here's this little outflow boundary that produced out just kind of moving south. Now it's over the Arlington region. So if you're living in Arlington or heading into Fort Worth, you're probably going to get some higher wind gust out of this situation over as this kind of this outflow boundary kind of moves over your region. Yeah, let's put some rain amounts on these so far. You can see these pretty isolated, but look right there, just right south of Garland, kind of training over the same area. About 1.5 inches of rainfall already. So that thunderstorm's already produced about 1.5 inches of rainfall, just probably in the last hour or so, as it kind of just still sitting there, just really not moving anywhere. And there's definitely been pockets of at least 1 inch or 1.5 inches as well south of Dallas with that other supercell. But it is going to be one of those cases, again, this is going to be an isolated event, but where they are going to be popping up some supercells, they're going to lay down some larger hail and definitely some higher winds. And once these kind of subside, you're going to get the downburst winds coming in out of this activity as well. There's another supercell that's highlighted just north of the Fredericksburg region, so north of Fredericksburg. This one's moving more eastbound. But this also has some quarter-size hail with it as well. That is just north of the Fredericksburg region. Hey, Andrew, how are you doing? Hey, Houston, going to get any rain? Probably not with this event, but you are going to get rain this week. Yeah, it's just another very active week ahead. Very, very wet environment for really much of the middle part of the country, much of the Central Plains. Just another very active week. I mean, heading to the last week of May, getting into the first part of June, just still very volatile. You got the heat ridge in Mexico that's still elevating those temperatures further south. You've got little cool fronts that just can't go anywhere. They just kind of stall over the same areas that cause new convergence on pretty much on a daily basis. So tomorrow we're going to have the same deal happening with this frontal boundary kind of draped across a good part of Texas. And all you got to do is heat up the atmosphere again. And then you're going to have more initiation of storms that form. And there could even be some storms that form near the Red River tonight, like maybe after midnight into the overnight hours. So there's going to be like numerous complexes going to come in all different directions. I usually like to take these events kind of like on a daily basis, because what happens today sometimes can actually influence what could unfold tomorrow and set up new little outflow boundaries. We're getting into that time of year where you get into what they call northwest flow, and it's just very difficult to predict, where the storms and if they're going to be able to survive the northwest flow coming in off the Rockies, within outside of 24 hours, essentially, and where the actual initiation of the storm development is going to be. Because what happens today is going to leave newer outflows. What happens tomorrow? So it's kind of a widespread rain event for a good part of Texas tomorrow. But as far as like the severe storms, it's going to be a little bit harder to pinpoint that down where the most significant activity to be, dependent on these little outflows that will be, left over this afternoon. Hey, Quentin. Hey, appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Yeah, so you should be listening to me both on Facebook as well as YouTube. Appreciate all the followers out there. So yeah, make sure you definitely hit the like button as well, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Hey, Megan. Yeah, Garland does actually have a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock. So it goes on until 10 o'clock. So there's always a possibility. Some of this activity could impact the Garland region if there's, that little cell that just formed just south of you. There's new activity trying to form towards Bridgeport and Paradise. Rome has some, isolated pockets of light to moderate rain. Yeah, I'm leaving the front on here because this is a major focal point of where storms could actually kind of develop along this front. So that's your convergence zone. That's the zone where we're watching for kind of like storm initiation along that front there. Hey, thanks for watching from Weatherford. Hope one out there is in kind of enjoying some time with their family, enjoying the off day from work and everything. Yeah, the weather that never sleeps for me, right? I was I was out and about with the family earlier. So my wife actually is trying to cook some steaks for tonight. Hey, Candace, how are you doing? Watching from Temple, still trying to recover. Yes, you've had a lot of bad weather in Temple lately. I know you had that tornado. You've had some larger hail, had some tennis ball size hail. You've had multiple events lately. Hey, I was just trying to go see if I can make Roy go find it. It's just south of Killeen, about a halfway between there and Waco. Oh, you're talking about Ding Dong, the city. Oh, yes, the Ding Dong, Texas. Yes, it was just like the other day when I posted about Lawn, Texas. There's a city called Lawn, Texas. Yes, there actually is. There's definitely some funny names for these cities in Texas. Hey, what about Allen? Well, Allen's under that severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock. So right now, the boundary is south of you, and there's nothing actually kind of forming. So you're barely basically within the severe thunderstorm watch that kind of really goes from that area all the way down to Mexico, really. Yeah, so there's your severe thunderstorm watch right here. Everything's mainly combined right along that front there. Most of the storm movement is moving east and east-southeast, which I'm basically expecting today. So anything that forms north of here would have to be based on kind of an outflow boundary. That's an outliner. That's definitely an outliner. Everything's going to be mainly south. I would say mainly most of everything is going to be south of Dallas into the hill country, as well as into South Texas. that severe thunderstorm watch goes all the way down into San Antonio, New Braunfels, back into Fredericksburg. Includes the Austin region, Round Rock. Again, these are areas that have, these have heat advisories, excessive heat warnings and heat advisories for these areas. I mean, very, very soupy air mass. I mean, the Rio Grande Valley region, heat index was well over 120 today. That's crazy stuff. I mean, it just feels like a wet blanket out there. Even in the Austin region, all the way up to 110 degrees feels like. So the atmosphere is kind of prime. There's a lot of moisture in this atmosphere. It doesn't take much to all you got to have is some sort of trigger and some upward rising motion air, and that's exactly what's causing the kind of the air mass to kind of overturn. But we do have some pretty significant hail that's coming out of this cell out towards Fredericksburg. All right, so this is a supercell that was located over the Willow City region. That was about 9 miles northeast of the Fredericksburg region, down there in the hill country. Developing supercell that has some golf ball size hail with it and some 60-mile-per-hour winds. So locations in the path of this one are going to be Willow City, Eckert, and Blowout, Texas. Those cities are in the path, producing some golf ball size hail at times, as this supercell is kind of slowly shifting eastbound. That was just north of the Fredericksburg region, and that's traversing right along north of Highway 290 there in the hill country. It's likely going to be shifting a little bit towards the Horseshoe Bay region, and Marble Falls is definitely in the sights of this supercell that does have some golf ball size hail with it. Hey, Snowies, how are you doing? You think it's hot today? Wait until August. I know we're just getting going. That's the bad part about it. I mean, you got meteorology summer starts next week. I can't believe we're already here, and most of the kids are pretty much out of school, or for the most part. All right, let's go back up north because we are still producing this. Just a very large hail producers. This is the cell I'm pretty concerned about because it is moving more east southeast in the southward trajectory, and you can definitely see it is producing the biggest hail. So right now we had a storm spotter that hail core that was over the city of Hutchins did in fact have a ground report of 2 inches now, folks. That's the biggest hail of the day. So now 2 inches fell between Hutchins and the city of Wilmer. This is south of the Metroplex, right along the Interstate 45 corridor. So that's some pretty significant hail. That's over a little bit bigger than golf ball size hail that had a ground report truth around 5:39. That's about 10 minutes ago or so. And this cell is going to be, again, slowly shifting south there. So now it's heading out of Hutchinson and then heading towards the city of Wilmer, and then Ferris is going to be next in line for this, kind of larger hail producer. You can see the largest hail, right? It's right there along the Interstate 45 corridor. All right, let me take the watch back off. Hey, is this storm going to hit us north, DFW, McKinney? Yeah, I mean, they're under, you're under that severe thunderstorm watch. Most of the cells are moving east southeast, so you'd have to rely on some sort of outflow boundary if you're going to get anything further north than that. Hey, Valley View, Sanger area, I hope nothing we can't take anymore. Yeah, I was out earlier. I looked at some of the storm damage from the other night. It's definitely pretty devastating. I went to head over to Salina and saw some of the neighborhoods there that got hit hard. It's very heartbreaking to see something like that. So the National Weather Service is still doing all the surveys. Right now, they've confirmed those 3 tornadoes, but there will definitely be more, and they're going to be, looking at how long these were on the ground and everything else. It definitely takes a while to complete these surveys to get them 100% accurate. So just be patient. I'll be posting all the outcomes and what the National Weather Service does come up with, but there's definitely a lot of significant damage. The here heat indices ran 20 to 25 degrees above actual today. Yeah, further south, I mean, it was just a bath. I mean, you got heat indices already approaching, 110, 115, Rio Grande Valley's, 120 plus range. I think at one point DFW was like, even DFW like 108 degrees, I think. Yeah, it looked like look 107, right around 3:30, it hit 107. Heat index, it feels like temperature. Right now, it's basically 2 supercells over North Texas and Central Texas, and sometimes again, that's all it takes. And both supercells has some quarter size hail with it, so it's leaving a pretty good swath of larger hail in its path, and as this continues to move further south, so it's right along that Interstate 45 corridor. So Palmer is going to be in line, Garrett is going to be in line, as well as into the Ennis region. Continues to move just due south around 15 miles an hour. So it's not moving very fast at all, really. But we can kind of put a trajectory on this. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be in the Palmer region around in 29 minutes ago. So yeah, moving at 15 miles an hour, it's going to be crawling. Garrett around 45 minutes. Ennis, it won't reach that until about an hour or so. So it just kind of goes to show you how kind of slower movement this supercell is. But if anything, it looks like the hail core has kind of pulsed down. It's not as intense as it was coming out of the Hutchinson region, so that's a good thing. You're definitely not seeing as much purples or the reds or the whites kind of showing up. That's definitely come down a lot, actually. So yeah, that's always a good thing that this one's actually lowering a little bit. Looks like we have new development again further north, right along that front. So there is some larger hail trying to form. This is towards the Justin and the Coral City region and Flower Mound. So there's another cell. This is where the front is, right along that front. We're having renewed development starting to develop right within the Justin region. So we can look at some of these cloud tops here on this one. And that one's producing some 47,000 foot cloud top, folks. So this is probably going to be your next storm that will likely turn severe. So we're on Roanoke now. This is just now developed. In this atmosphere, it does not take much, right? So you got to be in high alert in this situation where, it's like, hey, everything's fine. It looks great outside, but yeah, and then 15 minutes later, like you literally can have a severe thunderstorm. This is exactly what happens. We saw just very light to moderate rain kind of forming in this area. And then we're seeing a lot more reds and a lot of more, oranges kind of showing up. That just goes to show you some heavier rain within this atmosphere. The cloud top is around 46,000 feet. We are definitely seeing some pocket change hail starting to form within this region as well. So now we're starting to get some deeper, some reds and some oranges built in right along 35W there. So let's kind of zoom in. This is the Cross Timbers region. We're near Flower Mound now. So this is Cross Timbers, west West Bridge, Cross Timbers Road. This is north of the Highway 114 region, north of Highway 114. Yeah, this is the movement over the last 30 minutes. You can kind of see this is all popping up, right? It's just kind of blowing up. The cap is eroding in this area. You have the frontal boundary stalled just to your south, and that's to the north. You have that convergence, right? Oh, it's overturning the atmosphere. Cloud top's getting bigger. The hell core is getting bigger. So this is going to be your next cell that's likely, look at that just a brand new. So this is getting some larger hail just develop, happening right before your eyes, folks. This is going to be turning severe really quickly. All right, so this is right along Interstate 35W, right along Interstate 35W to kind of get your bearings. This is Highway 114. So Highway 114 and just south of Coral City. So south of Coral City. It really doesn't have terribly too much movement. It's just kind of drifting right now. So it's just kind of drifting. So it's going to be one of those cells that's going to be popping up just right overhead. If you happen to be right overhead with one of these supercells, but this is definitely appears going to be the next cell that will be turning severe shortly. All right, so now we're at 51,000 feet. So we're at 51,000 feet, folks. So if you live anywhere near this region, I would definitely get your car under cover shortly because we are going to probably seeing some larger hail coming out of this supercell. This is just north of Highway 114. So north of Highway 114 near the Flower Mound region and Cross Timbers. So there is Cross Timbers Road. There's West Bridge Road. There's Mulkey Lane, County Road 335. There is FM 156, FM 156. And further to the southeast is the city of Roanoke and Trophy Club, as well as Westlake, as well as Flower Mound. So I'll show you that here's the trend. This is just over the last 30 minutes of this these cloud tops. They weren't really anything, right? They're 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, now 45,000. Now it's all the way up to 51,000 feet right along the Cross Timbers Road, right on Interstate 35. Again, this is an interstate where likely there's going to be a lot of people driving on Memorial Day. It's right around 6 o'clock. There's probably a lot of people trying to head home for the weekend to get back to work tomorrow. And again, they're going to be dealing with a potential supercell that's going to leave some larger hail as well. So the higher the cloud tops these get, the more significant the hail can be. So right now there's probably some better updrafts that's feeding this storm, pushing those cloud tops a little bit higher. So obviously the higher the cloud top's able to get, the bigger the hail it's able to form as well. So it has not turned severe yet, but it's only a matter of time before this supercell does in fact turn severe. So if we kind of zoom out, this is the area that we're talking about. This is Flower Mound, Louisville, the Highland Village region, Bartonsville. This activity is not moving very fast at all, but nonetheless, it's by the city of Justin, right there along the city of Justin. And it's really traversing right along FM 1171, right along FM 1171 there. Yeah, there's renewed activity trying to develop as well near Boyd and Rome. So I'll be watching out for this activity that's headed up to Paradise and Runaway Bay. I mean, I'm leaving the front on here, just kind of give you a focal point on where these are likely maybe trying to form. Yeah, but it's really kind of blowing up right there, right over Bajustin, Bartonsville, Flower Mound, Highland Village, Louisville, in the city of Roanoke, right within that boundary there in the city of Double Oak. Yeah, it's mainly right along FM 1171, right along FM 71, where we are seeing renewed activity really starting to develop now. All right, so now the storm near Ferris has now redeveloped again. I mean, it's now it did pulse down, but it looks like it's coming back up again. So the hail core is coming back with that supercell. You can see it kind of faded, and now it's pulsed back up again, right over the city of Ferris. This is again just it's picking out the interstates, right? You got the one on the left, right along in Highway 35W, and then you got the other one right along Interstate 45. So right now, it's mainly right along those interstates. This one's drifting due south, but this is again increasing. That hail core is definitely increasing right over the city of Ferris, folks. Right over the city of Ferris. Yeah, look at that significant cloud top. This supercell has just kind of exploded here. Now 53,000 feet, 54,000 feet. That definitely has some potential to produce some pretty significant hail, folks. Yeah, this is what the radar is actually seeing right now. It's seeing about 1.5 inches, about 1.5 inches up at in the upper levels. That's not reaching the ground right now, but that definitely is growing in intensity. You know, the cloud top is producing some higher cloud tops, and that hail core is getting a little bit more intense as we speak. Hey Mason, what's the significance of the higher clouds? Well, I mean, again, you just think about it. I mean, the higher cloud top, the colder it is up in the upper atmosphere, right? So the higher it can get, the bigger the updraft is going to be, and it pushes that hail back up in the atmosphere. So the longer it stays up in the atmosphere, the bigger the hail that it can get. All right, but it's also the more room, the more ceiling it has to work with. You have a lot more room to spin at different heights as well. So those ones always have a better chance of rotating as well. So it definitely, the hail core picks up with those situations, and the possibility of rotation, which could lead to, a wall cloud, a funnel cloud, and eventually possibly a spin up tornado. So that's definitely significant when you have a higher cloud top like that. And it also is, when it gets that high, it takes a long time for it to come down, right? So that's going to leave likely a hail swath for an extended period of time, or some sort of rotation that you have to be on the lookout for an extended period of time as it keeps drifting further south. But you can see both systems that we're talking about, they're both intensifying as we speak, with that this supercell is now kind of blowing up around 53,000 feet as well, 54,000 feet near Roanoke. So this continues to intensify. And now, in fact, they did issue that severe thunderstorm warning. So brand new severe thunderstorm warning now for this area that we've been highlighting for the last 10 minutes. This was a cell that was located over the city of North Lake there, or the near Trophy Club, moving southeast at 10 miles an hour. So again, that southeast trajectory is always concerning. Those always typically produce the larger hail and has the potential to rotate. That's the storm that moved east southeastward just the other night. When it started to move more east southeastward, that's when we had some bigger hail, and that's when it started to rotate, and unfortunately started producing some of those tornadoes to unfold. So it's definitely concerning that you get all this combination kind of coming together as the cloud top continues to grow in intensity. The other night, that cloud top went to 63,000 feet. Right now, this is 54. So right now, this is about 9,000 feet lower than what they actually saw the other night. But 54,000 feet is definitely really significant. You can see the radar now. It's up to 2.5 inches there, up to 2.5 inches about 10 minutes ago. So there's definitely larger hail up there. And I would actually say this one by Ferris is actually trying to shift more towards that east southeast for trajectory too. It's drifting a little bit further off to the east versus the due south than what we saw about 5-7 minutes ago. Again, if you're just now kind of tuning in live here, we are watching. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock this evening. So for another four hours, four more hours to go, we've got basically two supercells. It's just two supercells we're dealing with, and most in the metroplex. And they really formed right along this convergence zone where we were expecting. Now they've developed. We got some pretty significant cloud tops with them, over 50,000 feet up in the atmosphere. And it's now has dropped some quarter, if not almost 2-inch hail at times. And it's continued to drift further south into the warm sector. And the further south these go into an even more prime environment because the higher dew points further south, and the heat indices were actually even hotter a little bit further south that they were further north today. So here is that other supercell that was located over the Fredericksburg region. So that also has some significant hail with it as well. There's likely some golf ball size hail reaching the ground. But you can see higher up in the atmosphere, it's seeing some 2-inch, if not almost up to tennis ball size hail at times, 2.75 inches. So this one also has the potential produce some larger hail with it as well. And that's heading towards the Horseshoe Bay, Highland Haven region into Marbles Falls. So if you are tuning in from down south in the hill country, definitely be on high alert. You need to get your cars under cover of some pretty significant damaging hail heading your way. Let's shift covers now. Let's look at actually what's actually maybe reaching the surface as of right now. All right, so right now it appears that further south one by Fredericksburg, that's about 1.25 inches at times. So still that is some quarter size hail is able to reach the surface right now. This one's moving more northeast trajectory, but nonetheless, this is going to move towards the city of Horseshoe Bay, Highland Haven, as well as into Marble Falls. So those areas could see some quarter to potentially golf ball size hail at times. Highland Haven, Horseshoe Bay, as well as into Marble Falls over the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. All right, look at that. Look at that, folks. We did get confirmation from a ground spotter. No, sorry. So the cloud top is now seeing golf ball size hail. So it's now seeing golf ball size hail. So some of that is going to be trying to mix down to the surface, right? So this is still developing out there near the city of Flower Mound. This is right over Interstate 35W, just north of the Roanoke region. And this is a Highway 377. Yeah, this one is moving east southeastward. So Trophy Club, Westlake, I would say right along the 114 areas. It's going to be moving over Grapevine Lake, heading towards Westlake, Trophy Club, South Lake, eventually Grapevine. So again, this is another lake. So there's probably going to be a lot of people out there on Grapevine Lake. If you know anybody out there that may be boating, if you have anybody that you know that please send them a text or give them a call to let them know we do have a developing severe thunderstorm heading your way. I mean, they're probably seeing the cloud top, so hopefully they're heading in now. Yeah, but very dangerous situation to be out on the waters in something like this. Yeah, but very heavy rain likely falling between Interstate 35W and Interstate 35E. So right there between the two interstates, 35W, 35E, there's definitely a heavy rain swath and some mixed, quarter-size hail with it at times. In between the Justin region, just north of Roanoke and Westlake, definitely near Double Oak, Bartersville, Flower Mound, and heading into Louisville. This has continued to drift further east southeast, where Coppell's likely in the path, Grapevine, Cypress Waters, Valley Ranch, Carrollton. Those are all areas likely in the path of some very heavy rain, a lot of lightning with it, and some mixed quarter-size hail at times. Let's see if we can find any higher winds with these. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a glitch in the system or this is actually producing some downburst winds right now, but I'm looking at some of the velocity scans here. So this is actually producing some 84-mile-per-hour winds right there near Highway 121 in Harwood. Highway 121 in Harwood. So we had that little outflow boundary come out. This could be some downburst winds impacting this region. Hey, you live in Flower Mound right now. So what are you seeing in Flower Mound right now? I mean, is it raining cats and dogs? It looks like it's just pouring right there in Flower Mound, right along your area. 1171, Grapevine Lake, heading towards 3040 right there, 2499. Yeah, right now it's over Grapevine Lake, so it didn't take long. It's right now just pouring right over Grapevine Lake, all still kind of drifting that east-southeast trajectory. Okay, Amanda, that it looked like a glitch to me, so I just wanted to confirm. So I appreciate the confirmation there. Hey, lots of rain and pea-sized hail in Flower Mound. Hey, Tina, appreciate the report. It looks like with the main hail core is just now drifting into Roanoke and Trophy Club as well as Westlake. Yes, you are getting some hail there, but yeah, that pea-sized hail is sounding more likely there. Hey, just sprinkles right now, 24.99 and 30.40. Yeah, remember this isn't moving very fast. It's only moving at 15 miles an hour. So, hey, West Flower now, pouring rain, lightning, thunder, some small hail, 7 to 10 inch so far with this cell. Almost okay, 7/10 of an inch, almost 3/4 of an inch essentially. So that one cell out towards Ferris is now continue to move further south. Now it's heading over Bristol, Sandy Lake, eventually heading towards Ennis. That outflow boundary continues to press further south. So we'll watch if any new development forms with this activity that's trying to push out away to this supercell near Paris and Runaway Bay. That would likely be your next area that would possibly form some activity. You got the warm front draped just to your north. Hey, pouring rain right now at the Speedway. Appreciate the report. Yeah, if we zoom out here, there's basically four severe thunderstorm warnings basically in Texas, but all of them have turned severe here. All right, let's shift gears further south. So now that hail core is going to be reaching the Horseshoe Bay region. This continues to kind of hold its own further south. This is in the hill country. This is outside of Burnett and Marble Falls. So if you do live in the Highland Haven region, Horseshoe Bay, Marble Falls region, and eventually Burnett, you're likely going to be impacted from this supercell. All right, so I'm looking at some of these velocities here. They're mainly a small compacted hail core. Hey, do you think McKinney will be in the clear tonight, or will we get anything? I mean, right now it's not moving towards McKinney. It's away from McKinney. There's probably going to be renewed development happening towards the Red River, towards midnight, after midnight. So if McKinney gets anything, that you might get it from that second system in the very overnight hours, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. But there's going to be a lot more activity tomorrow. So if you miss it today, you're definitely going to have more opportunities tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be more of a widespread event covering much of Texas. Probably a good soaking 1 to 3 inches. And there's definitely going to be some very high winds in the hill country. Yeah, this is an isolated severe risk tonight. This is a very isolated severe risk, which you're seeing it play out. There's only a couple supercells, but these couple of supercells are going to lay down pretty significant hail, higher winds, very heavy rain, and then move on. So if you happen to be under one of these supercells, you're definitely going to be feeling it. If you're just outside of that, you're probably going to get some clear skies, right? Hey, Charlotte. Yeah, no wind at 121 in Hardin. How does 120 look for the next 2 hours? Interstate 20. Well, everything's drifting. This one's just south of 120, but everything's this one towards Flower Mound is heading towards I-20. It's just not moving very fast, right? This is the heavy nature of this, very heavy rain. Just not moving very much. I mean, it's just pouring right over the right over the lake there. It looks like it's 91 at DFW. Dew point still at 72. All right, so it looks like we did get an extension on that severe thunderstorm warning. All right, so right now this is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for southern Kaufman County, Henderson County, Ellis County, as well as Navarro County. So we had that storm we've been tracking right over Palmer, right along the Interstate 45 there. Continue to move that east southeast trajectory around 20 miles an hour or so. So likely those areas are going to be impacted with some higher wind gust and some larger hail at times, as has produced some quarter size and even upwards to 2-inch hail that has reached the surface. The atmosphere does have the potential to even reach up to ping pong size hail at the greatest potential with the supercell. So areas in the path along this area are going to be the Chatsville region, Eamhouse, and Stubbs, Becker, and Oak Grove, into Crisp, as well as into Rosner. So if you are traveling, if you're a truck driver out there, this is going to be right along Interstate 45. This is mile markers 236, right between 236 and 266, right in those 30-mile width. That's that severe thunderstorm warning that's going to be impacting those areas over the next hour. Hey, pea-size hail right now at the Speedway. Hey, appreciate the confirmation. Hey, Marble Falls getting pummeled right now. All right, so that one little lone supercell we've been tracking is now impacting Marble Falls. So you're just now getting the effects out of this supercell as it continues to shift a little bit further northeast. There's that leading edge heading into Marble Falls right now. Very torrential, blinding rain coming out of Horseshoe Bay, heading into Highland Haven. I'd say Burnett, just if you live just between Marble Falls and Burnett, is going to be next in line from this supercell. The good thing is the one further south near Fredericksburg has kind of pulsed down. It's not as intense as it was earlier, so it's right now they just have kind of a mesoscale discussion on it. There's another little cell out towards just north of San Saba. That's got some quarter size hail with it as well. That's moving right along 84. That's going to continue to move eastbound. That's likely going to impact Waco eventually in the next hour and a half. Oh yes, look at that hook, folks. Yeah, this is very concerning. We've got a little bit of a hook trying to form on this supercell by Roanoke. All right, so we have a supercell on this side. This is your hook trying to form coming out of Roanoke. So we've got to be concerned about this maybe trying to rotate here. In fact, I'm looking at the latest scans. I mean, we could be looking at some sort of rotation here. This is right along Roanoke Road, Melanie. This is definitely some stronger rotation coming out of this atmosphere. This is south of 170, Roanoke Road, Melanie Lane. There is a 1938. You can see what we're looking at here. This is the concern. You have you have the outflow boundary, but then you also have this little hook on the south side, just south of Roanoke here. Pretty concerning, right along 170 there. Yeah, there's two areas of rotation. There's Kaler Road, Mailer Road, Woodland Springs Drive, and there's also Roanoke and Melanie. Let me look at this other radar. Yeah, so if you're just now tuning in, we're definitely concerned about some rotation just south of the Roanoke region. So the south, we could have a potential developing tornado as we speak, folks. A little bit concerning on the southern side of this supercell. This is just outside the Keller region. The area that we're concerned about is just south of Roanoke and just north of the Keller region. That's highlighted right over 170 and 377. 170 and 377, Timberlake Boulevard, Keller Road, Keller Hazlitt Road. Yeah, looks to me the rotation is getting a little bit stronger. This is just between Roanoke and Keller, and just south of Westlake there, just south of Westlake, Roanoke and Keller. But this is a severe thunderstorm that was located over Roanoke. This is moving due south at 10 miles an hour, due south at 10 miles an hour. It's going to be in and around Fort Worth at 635, Fort Worth, Keller, South Lake, Trophy Club, Roanoke region around 635, North Richland Hills around 650, Watauga, and as well as Colleenville at around 655. The Hearst region at 705. Hearst at 705. But this is the circulation we're talking about, folks. This is Banford Road, Keller Smithville Road. This is north of 1709 and Business Road 377, 1709 and Business Road 377. This is between Roanoke and Keller. We're seeing some stronger rotation on the south side of this supercell. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that's showing a little bit of a hook at times. But this is the area that we're talking about right here that's showing some rotation just north of 1709 and Business Road 377. This is likely drifting just due south. So Keller will be in the crosshairs. Bransford region, I would get in your safe zone just to be careful, because we do have a potential trying to maybe a low-level center trying to form here. It's still showing a little bit of a hook there on the south side. Remember, this environment's prime, right? It's got 54,000 foot cloud top. So it's got a lot of room. It's got a lot of ceiling to work with. All right, we're gonna stay on this supercell, folks. Trying to get a better look on this other radar I got. All right, we'll watch this area closely. Hey, hailing in Lantana right now, so you're getting some hail in Lantana. All right, so there is the larger hail core, so likely over Roanoke, Westlake, Trophy Club. Still continue to push further south towards South Lake. Yeah, this cell is not moving very fast at all, folks. A little bit of hail in Flower Mound. You're probably getting some pocket change variety. Looks like the larger hail is over Roanoke and Westlake right now, heading towards South Lake. Eventually, that's probably heading towards the Colleyville region, Colleyville, Texas. Remember, this is moving just due south here, kind of south-southeast. Hey, Lantana getting some pea-size hail. Appreciate the confirmation. All right, the good thing is that rotation maybe just doesn't look as pronounced as it was. It definitely had some capabilities there at a time, and it maybe could, there might have been something briefly touched down there, but there was definitely something near between Roanoke and Keller. Hey, what about Waco? What about Waco? You're still pretty clear right now, but you are under that severe thunderstorm watching for about another 4 hours or so until 10 o'clock. Yeah, these cells, the one coming out of Marble Falls and the one that's over San Saba, will likely head towards in your direction, and the ones further north are moving, more south southeast. So right now you're just kind of in between systems. Princeton's pretty much in the clear right now. There's nothing even kind of remotely close, and it's not moving your way. Yeah, these areas are right on the border of that severe thunderstorm watch. I mean, there's some subtle signs here, but I mean, again, this would have to form because most everything that does form is all moving south and southeast. Yeah, but raining pretty good right now, still over a flower mound. If they had 3/4 of an inch earlier, you're definitely getting some over an inch now. Grapevine Lake is getting pounded. Capel, Cypress Waters, the Valley Ridge area, down towards Grapevine. This is the DFW airport. So this is all heading into the DFW airport. This is not good for people that want to get home from travel. So this would likely put a ground stop on the airport in about 15, 20 minutes from now. This is going to be right over the airport. This heavy rain and a lot of lightning, bigger cloud tops, a lot of movement, turbulence. They're probably not going to allow planes to fly out in this situation. So do expect delays at DFW Airport coming up shortly. They may even stop them right now. Yeah, but there is the movement. You can see this is actually DFW Airport right here. It's pretty much knocking on your doorstep. They are not going to let planes fly out on that situation. Hey, Alex. Okay, good. So you're in Keller. You just saw the wall cloud from west of me. There is definitely something there, folks. It's still looking, maybe it's trying to recycle or so. I mean, it's definitely looking a little bit more impressive now. So Alex has mentioned he's in Keller, and he's actually seeing the wall cloud just to his west. This is the area that we're talking about. 1709 and 377. This is the rotation that we're talking about right now. We've been on it for about 10 minutes or so. Yeah, this is right along 35W between Heritage Trace Parkway, Golden Triangle Boulevard, North Beach, Ray White Road. These are the areas that we're likely seeing some rotation out of here. Business Road 377, South Main Street, 1709. Hey, I can see it now from Fort Worth, dropping down. Looks awesome. All right, so let me know what you see, folks. We're definitely getting something there. Hey, 377 is a very, very busy road. All right, so it looks like the one by Ferris now has started to weaken. So this has been showing a history of kind of pulsing up and pulsing back down. It has definitely been on the weaker side. You can see a lot of the white starting to subside, the reds, the purples. So that hell core is definitely coming down with that one. The one by Flower Mound, Roanoke, and Keller is definitely holding its own. That one does not look to lose any of its intensity here. Hey, on Kroger Drive, heading towards 1709, it's really windy. Big wall cloud to the east of Keller Central High. Looks ominous. Appreciate the report, folks. Be careful. We could have a developing tornado as we speak. So we are watching a severe thunderstorm warning for Keller, Colleyville. We have a hail core south of Roanoke. We've seen a lot of rotations just west of Keller there. That's the concern. We got the hail core on the northeast side, and we have the rotation on the southwest side that we're concerned about. We're getting confirmation from a wall cloud. It looks pretty ominous out there. And that is just to the west of Keller. Continue to move south at around 10, 15 miles an hour. So yeah, Colleyville, North Richland Hills, the Bedford region, all those areas are in line to see some larger hail and possible rotation with this supercell. I would not be surprised if we get a tornado warning issued here shortly. Haltom City, the Hearst region, all those areas need to be on high alert of this wall cloud that's trying to lower just west of Keller. Yeah, it's still there, folks. It's not really moving very much. 1709 is just on the eastern side of 35W. So it's definitely on the eastern side of 35W, between 35W and the city of Keller. We're talking Golden Triangle, Heritage Parkway, Keller Hicks, Bray Birch Drive. Those areas are showing rotation right now. Hey, Denton County reporting some ping pong size hail in a Trophy Club. So getting some ping pong size hail reports in the Trophy Club region. Yep. So here's what the radar is seeing right outside of Trophy Club, getting some 2-inch above the surface. So that some of that could be mixed out to the ground, right along State Highway 114, State Highway 114, Indian Creek, Kings Road moving south, right along 114. This is Dove Drive, Shady Oak Drive. Yeah, that larger hail core is heading toward the city of Southlake. This is likely heading towards the city of Southlake. So there's the hail core side and a rotation side. The hail core side is east of Keller, coming out of Westlake, heading into Trophy Club, has now drifted further south by Dove Road, and this is going to be shifting into the city of Southlake, Old Union, and eventually the Colleyville region. But we're still watching some rotation with that, a definite hook on the western side there of Keller. Appreciate you tuning in to live coverage, folks. We have a dangerous situation. We only have a couple supercells, but those supercells are mighty. They are dropping some confirmed golf ball size hail as we speak, and very concerning that this little hook on the west side of Keller has had a visual from the audience out there showing that the wall cloud is trying to lower there on the western side of Keller. Wow, look at this, folks. This hail core is really ballooned up. It's actually seeing some 4-inch hail in the higher levels, just north of the Marble Falls. Now, that's not reaching the surface, but that is very significant. The atmosphere is seeing some 4-inch hail above the ground there. Some of that has the potential to try to mix back down. So this could have some significant hail trying to form, heading towards the Marble Falls region. Oh, crap. Okay, we might have something here, folks. Whoa, we might have a tornado on the ground, folks. We're getting velocities of 104. Oh my gosh, this could be significant. Yeah, so this is the area that we've been concerned about all night long, and the velocities are really showing some intensities right along Interstate 35. I don't know if that's a glitch right there. But we had some pretty significant winds pop up, 70 miles an hour. We're getting 87, 93. There is definitely something there, folks. The Interstate 35, Prairie Vista Drive, Heritage Trace Parkway, Riverside Drive. We're getting some significant velocity values now. This is around 1,500 feet above the ground. So we're likely getting some 80-mile-per-hour winds mixing down to the surface. That would be indicative of possibly an EF0 there. This is right on Interstate 35, folks. Yeah, very dangerous situation unfolding just west of the city of Keller. We're seeing some of the velocities really trying to pick up in intensity. Yeah, it's right on the edge of that warning. See if we see anything. Yeah, this would be just south of Hazlitt there. Hey, appreciate it, Les. All right, that's really flattened out. It's definitely not showing the hook anymore. I mean, it is really flattened out there quickly. Yeah, you can see that notch over the last 20 minutes or so. We could have had something there, and now it's lifted back up. It could be recycling, but it's definitely not there anymore. That is really flattened out. All right, so now you're getting DFW getting pounded. It is pouring at the airport now. They're definitely having a ground stop now. Hey, edit. No, it's not moving towards McKinney. That's for sure. All right. So remember we had those storms earlier in North Carolina. Now those have actually shifted off the coast. So we don't really have be concerns about. We had several tornado warnings when we first came on live in North Carolina. Those are continue to move pretty fast, and now it's basically out in the open waters. But even Virginia Beach is pretty clear, so there's nothing to be concerned about for the rest of the evening in North Carolina. So we have an isolated supercell near the Valdosta region. This one also has some pretty significant hail with it as well. So at times it is having the capability of producing some of that ping pong size hail, some 70-mile-per-hour winds, with the leading edge of this activity heading towards the Homerville region and Valdosta. So this has continued to move southeast as well. Back behind it, just definitely a little lighter activity, couple stronger winds, some heavier rain, some lightning associated with it, just south of the Montgomery region into Albany and to Columbus. So this activity is eventually going to be heading towards the Jacksonville region over the next hour or so. And if we shift back to Central Texas, we have again that one little lone cell has definitely pulsed down. So it was pretty intense for a long period of time. You can see up in the radar, it left had some pretty significant hail that went over the Horseshoe Bay. But now it is really starting to come down big time. So that one's come down a lot from what we saw earlier. Yeah, very little hail with that anymore. That's really drastically lowered in a big way. And even one just southwest of Hamilton, also very, very small, compact, just some very, very small, compact system right along 84. Could produce some golf ball size hail with it. All right, so let's zoom back. So here's the leading edge that's coming out of the Bedford region. Again, it's just torrential rains at the airport right now. But the leading edge has now shifted into Colleyville, the Bedford region, into Euless. Some pretty intense rains. So no hail in Keller. Yeah, you're just outside of that hail core. If anything, you might be getting some pocket pea-sized hail at times, but yeah, the main hail core, even that one is actually now pulsed down. But it's been pretty small area. South Lake, Old Union, Colleyville. That's the main swath of the larger hail. Yeah, that cell looked concerning for a while there. It definitely was looking concerning. All right, so they went ahead and extended the severe thunderstorm warning. That was the storm we've been tracking over the South Lake. Continues to move southeast at around 10 miles an hour, so still very slow. So now this is central Denton County, eastern Tarrant County, and northern Dallas County. So again, this cell has some 60-mile-per-hour winds and some half-dollar size hail at times. So locations in the path of this next one are going to be the Euless, the Bedford, Grapevine, Keller, Hurst, South Lake, Colleyville, North Richland Hills, all around right now. That's where it's over at right now. The DFW Airport, 7:05. So 7:05 is going to head right over the DFW Airport. Fort Worth at 7:15. The Arlington region at 7:20. Grand Prairie around 7:30. So all those areas need to be able to look out for some very heavy rain, some isolated 60-mile-per-hour winds, some half-dollar size hail at times, and luckily the rotation has seemed to subside, but it was definitely fairly strong earlier. In fact, let's switch gears here. Let's look at that. I want to see if this is actually picking up now. Yeah, this is still filling in, but this is the area that was rotation that was coming out of Roanoke to Keller, and it really picked up here. It has not filled in yet. We're going to go back in about 10 minutes or so. All right, let's switch gears. Let's head up to Pennsylvania because it looks like we do have an actual confirmed tornado, folks. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground in Pennsylvania. This is just outside of Hazleton. Yeah, confirmed observed tornado on the ground. So this is issued by State College, Pennsylvania, a confirmed tornado that was over the city of Mahoney City, moving east at 30 miles an hour. So very dangerous. Confirmed tornado in central Pennsylvania. So this is central Pennsylvania now. Very damaging confirmed tornado that is on the ground, heading towards the city of Hometown. This is moving east at 30 miles an hour. So moving east at 30 miles an hour. So if we zoom out, this is south of Scranton, north of Allentown, and north of Reading. This is the city of Mahoney City, moving eastbound at 30 miles an hour. You can see the tornado right now near Locust Valley. Yeah, brand new tornado warning unfolding right now in Pennsylvania, folks. This is just south of Hazleton and just northeast of the city of Allentown. So northeast of the city of Allentown, moving eastbound around 30 miles an hour or so. What is that? Tamacua? Sorry, I can't pronounce these names. Lansford. This is all heading towards 476, Interstate 476, just east of 81 there. This is a confirmed tornado that is on the ground by storm spotters, moving just due east there. Hey, Snowies. Yes, I'm on it right now. So now you're getting some hail in Keller. So this one's heading east around 30 miles an hour, heading towards the city of Palmerton, Lansford, in central Pennsylvania. So definitely be on high alert up there in central Pennsylvania from this confirmed tornado that is on the ground right now. Yeah, so there's just a couple cells up here towards the Washington D.C. region. Yeah, some of these have some very borderline quarter size hail. So that confirmed tornado that's been on the ground for about 5 minutes or so continues to move just east. Now Lansford need to be on high alert, need to be in your safe zone as this continue to move east about 30 miles an hour. So right now there's 9 other severe thunderstorm warnings. There's a couple in Georgia. The stuff in North Carolina has subsided. That is no longer effective. They did have some 70-mile-per-hour winds outside of Virginia Beach earlier. But that outflow boundary has continued to push off into Azle, into Springtown, heading towards the city of Fort Worth. Yeah, and if anything, that circulation looks to come back again. Now it's just north of North Richland Hills, but it's definitely a little bit more evident now as it's approaching the Highway 121 and the Bedford region. Yeah, blinding rain happening in Keller, South Lake, Old Union, Grapevine, Euless, coming out of Louisville. All right, so now you're feeling the effects in Euless right along 183 there. So Irving's now getting a downpour. Yeah, this one's not moving very fast. It's just moving literally about 10 miles an hour. Yeah, it's only moving at 10 miles an hour, folks. All right, so further south, we do have that one little system out by Ennis, but that has weakened significantly. It's not nearly as intense as it was earlier. So not terribly too concerned about what that cell at the moment. And even the one that came out of Marble Falls as well, that one's definitely has pulsed down as well. Hey, just saw the new watch issued, so more development is expected in the evening in this area. The new watch, was that you talking about the same watch that's issued right now? Yeah, it's the same watch they issued about 3 hours ago. But yeah, there's your severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 10 o'clock. Goes until 10 o'clock for another 3 hours. Yeah, the tornado watch is happening up here into Virginia Beach. You can definitely see that activity has now moved safely out in the open waters of the Atlantic. But now, as we swing further north, we are still dealing with some activity that's just to the right of the warm sector here. We do have a little small pocket just south of Hazleton that did, in fact, produce a confirmed tornado that's likely still on the ground even right now. This was over the city of Mahoney City. A confirmed tornado. Continue to move eastbound around 30 miles an hour. Layton is in the path of this storm. Lansford, Packerton, Layton. Looks to be just north of the Palmerton region in central Pennsylvania. And they take the warning back off, or the watches back off. It definitely appears that circulation is trying to come back just south of 121 there. All right, looks like we got a brand new tornado warning, radar indicated tornado warning for Maryland this time. This is just outside of Baltimore. Yeah, brand new tornado warning south of Glen Burnie and in Maryland. Radar indicated tornado developing, producing. This is outside of Baltimore, the DC region. This supercell that was located over the city of Laurel continued to move eastbound at 20 miles an hour. So moving eastbound at 20 miles an hour. Georgetown, Jessup, and Skaggsville are in the path of this radar indicated tornado. You can see the leading edge is more of a squall line. So you have some embedded supercells. That's this leading edge is showing signs of rotation. Yeah, there was the rotation, and now it's over Pines of Laurel, Russet. It's continued to move eastbound. This would likely be over Fort Meade area, the Argonne Hills region. Yeah, this is continue. This is going to be continue to move eastbound. Someone mentioned Connecticut. You're likely going to be in the path of this storm right here. That's just south of Scranton. So it's probably about 2 hours away or so to be impacted from those cells. Pretty clear. Sorry, let me switch gears. Yeah, we do have some isolated pockets of some heavier rains moving into out of Albany, heading into Concord. This isn't severe, just south of Mount Pelier. You can see where the front is. Everything's ahead of that front. And it's already kind of backing up as a warm front there in Texas. And that's going to be the focal point of more storms tomorrow. Yes, we've had help with. There's definitely been some hail reports in Dallas. In fact, we can look at that right now. Actually, let me take this off. All right, so here's some of the hail that has fallen. Looks like we've had some 1.5 inches that went through some areas of Roanoke, Westlake. Keller was just on the outskirts of some hail. Nickel size. Went through Southlake into Colleyville, some quarter-size hail, back down towards Bedford. You see several ground reports there, that 1 inch hail, 1 1/4 inch hail. Another report of 1 inch hail towards Grapevine. little bit more significant as we head towards Interstate 45. They had that 2-inch report right along 45. But then just some pockets of quarter-inch hail south of Ferris there. So right now, the biggest hail has been over Cockrell Hill. That was earlier around 423, 4 miles northeast of Cockrell Hill. That was near just west of the downtown Dallas region. And then we also had that one report north of Wilmer, came out of Hutchins, was a 2-inch hail report between Hutchins and Wilmer, right along 45 there. Looks like we got a brand new report. This is 1.5 inches that was confirmed in Colleyville by an amateur radio spotter. This was at 7:09, so about 6 minutes ago. So they did, in fact, confirm that 1.5-inch hail in the city of Colleyville. Looks like we have a new report now that's right along 121 in the city of Hurst. That is some golf ball size hail, 1.75 inches. Confirmed golf ball size hail. That was at 7:08. That was about 7 minutes ago. All right, so this is actually the first signs of some development trying to form further north. Remember, we had like 2 outflows, right? We had one shifted further south. We had actually one shifting a little bit further north. So it's right along these outflows that can overturn this environment. So we're getting some light to moderate rain starting to build right outside the loop there in Denton, just north of Oak Point, right along Highway 380. So we'll watch this activity if this is able to do anything here. That cloud top's not very significant at all. About 30,000 feet. It's a little bit bigger out here towards Lincoln Park. So again, this is the first signs of it developing a little bit further north. So we'll watch this and see if it's able to come to anything. But overall, the cloud tops have pulsed down a little bit. They're not as significant as they were earlier. At one point, it did reach 54,000 feet. Yeah, pretty clear right now on McKinney. Most of this activity is moving south. It would just be this new activity that's trying to form right along 380 here. But everything that has formed has been moving south. So it's not moving north, it's moving south or southeast. Hey, quarter size hail now in the Bedford region. So we're getting confirmation of quarter size hail in Bedford. Oh, wow. Look at this, folks. This is significant. This is Bedford. This is baseball size hail. This is confirmation by a storm spotter. Baseball size hail coming out of that supercell. So we're definitely seeing some very damaging hail come out of this very slow moving supercell coming out of Colleyville, Keller, Bedford, Hurst. Now we're getting the biggest hail of the day. Baseball size hail at 7:12. That was 5 minutes ago. That did mix down to the surface. That's why we always look at this. This is what you see high above. So at one point, this is what we were seeing. The radar was seeing 3.2 inches. And it was also seeing 3.5 inches. So some of that was able to mix down to the surface and did confirm a 2.75-inch hailstone That is really significant. That is easily the biggest storm of the day. Yeah, it's a very slow moving storm, just a very slow moving storm. Dang it. Sorry, I'm trying to make a post real quick. All right, so now that leading edge is continue to push further south. It's eventually going to head towards the Interstate 30 region. Interstate 30. So Euless. So it's still likely pouring at the airport there. Yeah, it's still pouring at the airport. Apparently, the people are asking when the airport's going to reopen. All right, so here is the airport, folks. This is the airport. So yeah, we've got very large hail. We've got high winds in this area. We've got very heavy rain. They're not going to let a plane go out in this situation. So we are getting a ground stop right now happening. So this activity is going to continue moving further south. So we probably have at least another 30 minutes or so before they lift the ground stop. But after that, there's nothing that's forming just north of that. So you're likely going to be in the clear to let those planes continue. Yeah, but pretty pronounced outflow boundary outflowing out ahead of this system. So we'll watch Springtown, Azle. So you'll probably get some gusty winds out ahead of this leading edge as well. Springtown, Azle, Fort Worth. This is more like an outflow boundary, but it also could help overturn the atmosphere. So it's moving into an environment that is pretty prime. It's fairly unstable right now. So this cooler pocket could overturn the atmosphere and produce some showers and thunderstorms that could lead to some more severe storms. All right, so we all beginning to see that new cell that formed just outside of Oak Point has now grown in intensity as well. So we're starting to get some heavier rain right along the Highway 380 corridor near Oak Point and just outside of Little Elm. So that's by Lincoln Park and outside of Providence Village and Navajo. It's not severe, but it is showing signs of intensity. The cloud tops are not very strong with this, so not terribly too concerned about this particular cell right over 380. But it definitely looks like there's some heavier rains trying to form. There's not even actually any lightning strikes with that. But it appears it is forming, and it's actually forming and moving forming right along the Highway 380 there. Yes, that's the baseball size hail that's coming out. So this is the confirmed baseball size hail that we had in Bedford. So now we've got a pretty significant hail core, leaving some baseball size hail in its wake at 7:13. There was that system that came out of Bedford in the Hurst Euless Bedford area, moving south at 20 miles an hour. So locations in the path are going to be Fort Worth, Arlington, Euless, Bedford, Hurst, Richland Hills, right over that area right now. The Grand Prairie region, Pentago around 7:30. So pretty significant hail core building. You can see what we're talking about here. This is the confirmed big hail. So we had a confirmed baseball size hail at 7:12, just 1 miles north of Bedford. Now that hail core has continued to drift further south. It is right over Central Drive, the Pipeline Road, Euless Road, Trinity Boulevard. Those areas are likely getting pounded with some larger hail. That's continued to move right near the 157 corridor. This is moving due south at 20 right. Let's see, 10 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. Due south at 20 miles an hour. Has some significant 70-mile-per-hour winds at times, but a very destructive storm. This is labeled as a destructive storm because it's baseball-sized hail. It's doing an extreme amount of damage. So if you are listening to me from the city of Arlington, you need to take cover. You need to, you still maybe have 5 or 7 minutes or so to put your car under cover because we are getting confirmed larger hail just to your north, and this is moving due south in your direction. So it's going to be crossing over Interstate 30 here shortly, moving into the Grand Prairie region, going into Arlington. Yeah, very, very destructive storm. You can actually see the hail swath here. This is your hail swath right here, moving due south here. Yeah, very intense supercell. Again, it's just one little supercell. There's nothing else around it. And that's what makes it so intense. If you zoom out, everything else is now kind of dissipated. We just left with this one cell, but that's doing a lot of damage right over the heart of the Metroplex into just west of the DFW airport, in and around the came out of the Colleyville region, Bedford, Euless. Now this has continued to push further south. It's crossing over Interstate 30, and it's heading towards the city of Arlington. So that's heading very destructive storm, likely some quarter to baseball size hail at times, coming near the Pentago region, Dalworthington Gardens, Arlington Lakeside. Those areas are directly in the path. Eventually going to be crossing over Interstate 20. It looks to be just to the west of downtown Dallas, but very compact storm. But this is where your likely biggest hail is now. It's right over Central Drive, Pipeline Road, Euless Road, Radar Drive, Trinity Boulevard, likely getting some very heavy, large hail. Continues to move due south, folks, due south, Highway 157. So locations continue to be in the path, are going to be the Arlington region. This is Green Oaks Boulevard, eventually Green Oaks Boulevard, Lamar Drive, and Interstate 30. So Green Oaks Boulevard and Interstate 30. This is likely in the direct path of this larger hail. Moving due south. It's moving due south, folks. Yes, it's 20 miles an hour. So likely this supercell is going to be in Pantego in about 22 minutes. Arlington at 24 minutes. Worthington Gardens in around 26 minutes. Mansfield around 51 minutes to kind of give you some times and locations of where you can see some larger hail with this storm. So all those areas need to be on high alert. If significant destructive storm has confirmed baseball-sized hail over the city of Bedford. Now that's moving over Hearst. Continues to move due south, heading towards Pantego, Arlington, Worthington Gardens, and the city of Mansfield. All those areas need to be on high alert. And if you have time, please put your car under cover. If you got a garage, definitely use that. If you got a carport, definitely use that as well. Yeah, very destructive storm. Remember the severe thunderstorm watch had the capability of producing some 3.5-inch hail at the peak. 3.5-inch hail. We've seen confirmation of it reaching the ground of 2.75, but there's been pockets aloft. There's definitely been pockets aloft where it's been 3.5 inches, 3.2 inches. We had some reports down further south towards the 4-inch range by Fredericksburg. Let me see which radars and see. Let me zoom into some of this. See if we can get. Yeah, so here's some 2-inch hail by Bedford, 2-inch hail over Hearst, crossing over 1.3 over Euless, 1.5 over Tarrant. Yeah, pretty significant hail core. Continue to lay down some very large hail. All right, so that leading edge right now has pushed through the I-30 corridor, Interstate 30. It is approaching Indian Hills, right outside of Grand Prairie. It's heading towards Worthington Gardens, Pantego. And this more than likely is going to continue. This severe thunderstorm warning is likely going to continue further south. So Midlothian, Venus, Waxahachie, you're going to be next. Duncanville, Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Avila. Those areas are likely going to be next in line of this severe thunderstorm. So just some little light to moderate rains that's coming out of the Little Elm region, Hackberry Creek, that's moving towards Prosper. This isn't severe, so just getting some light to moderate rains. Crestview at Prosper, Rock Hill, Emerson Estates. Some heavier rains have pushed through the Richland Boulevard region, Coleman, Preston Road and First Street, That's the leading edge of the heavier rains. This pocket looks to be moving due east. This one north of Highway 121, this one looks to be moving due east. You got the warm front stalled just to its south. Hey, Tracy, I'm worried about driving earlier AM. Grapevine tomorrow. I heard at 6 to 9 a.m. It could be a little dicey. Yeah, there's gonna be another system coming in overnight for sure. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be more of a widespread event. There's going to be several rounds pretty much all day long. There's going to be a morning event, afternoon, and likely evening. So there's going to be a swath of at least 1 to 3 inches of rain. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a more of a widespread event for a lot more people. This is more of an isolated event. Yeah, if you got any pictures of the hail, as long as it's safe, please message me. Feel free to message me. The best way to send it to you is on Messenger on Facebook. You can just send it through there. If you have any type of object that you can put it next to, so you can get a better feel of what it actually looks like, or if you have a ruler. But it's always better to put a like object. So if it's quarter size, put a quarter size in your hand, as well as the hailstone, and take a picture. Same thing with a golf ball. If it's golf ball, find a golf ball so you can have a related size. Same thing if you happen to get some of those tennis ball size hail or even baseball size hail, like we saw in Bedford or Hearst. Yeah, feel free to message. You can also do it on the PAL weather app. So I do have a PAL weather app. So the guys are kind of new to me that don't know I don't have a weather app. You can find it on Android as well as the Apple Play Store. But I got my own weather app, PAL weather app. But on the app, you can actually send me pictures as well. So you can actually send it through as well. Oh, hey, Sarah. Yeah, so I'm already actually getting some pictures I'm seeing. Hey, Daniel Smith. Appreciate it. Colleyville tonight. Yeah, that definitely looked like some golf ball size hail to me. I like the ruler. Yeah, they look like right at almost 1.25, 1.5 inches. Maybe some $half size hail there. Hi, Anita. How are you doing? Looking towards Flower Mound, flying into DFW. Let's see. Here's DFW. Looks like things have, at least the bulk of it's trying to wind down out of DFW, but it's still going to be on the ground stop for a good 20 minutes or so. Looks like we have another confirmed baseball size hail just on the other side of 183 there. So now Euless has now a confirmed baseball size hail report at 727. So Bedford and Euless is now confirmed baseball size hail in both locations. That was at 727 about 10 minutes ago. So it's still producing some pretty significant hail. All right, now that hail core is over the city of Arlington. It's over the city of Arlington. Continue to push southbound at 20 miles an hour. So now Park Row, Mitchell, Browning Drive, New York Avenue, East Park Road, they're all likely getting some larger hail right now, right along Highway 360 and Pioneer Parkway, and as well as Arkansas Lane. Wow, that's big. Valerie, next to in Colleyville. All right, so they went ahead and continued the severe thunderstorm warning further south, like I mentioned. Does include Johnson, Tarrant, Ellis, and portions of Dallas County. There was that severe thunderstorm that's highlighted over Arlington right now. Continue to move south-southeast at around 20 miles an hour. So now locations in the path are that Arlington region, which is on your doorstep right now. Dallas around 7:45, Dallas around 7:45, Duncanville 7:55, Cedar Hill at 7:50, DeSoto, Midlothian, and Novilla around 8:10. Those areas would likely get some larger hail. Now pulse that down to golf ball size hail potentially. Glen Heights around 8:15, and the city of Oakleaf around 8:20. So we have some damaging, likely some 65-mile-per-hour winds as this cell has now pushed further southeast and at times producing some golf ball size hail now. Hey, Roy and Prosper in the path. Hey, Joey. Of hail this evening. I mean, right now you're at like just on that borderline of that severe thunderstorm watch. Did that really fizzle? Man, it fizzled quickly then. It's not even raining anymore. Yeah, that activity is not coming to anything further north. Yeah, everything continues to push further south, right just west of the Dallas-Fort DFW downtown area. Yeah, the leading edge is now pushing towards the I-20. Now it's pushing towards I-20. Hey, you can see it. Hey, Cameron, you can see it right now from DeSoto. Thanks for tuning into live coverage, folks. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Appreciate the support out there. Yes, I know it is Memorial Day, so I hope one of us enjoying your time off of work. And we are going to have a very active week ahead, unfortunately. I know a lot of people out there are probably waiting for this to die down. But I feel like we still have another couple more weeks left, unfortunately. We are still in the heart of severe weather season that likely continues at least through the middle of June. Historically, it starts to die down on the second half of June, but I don't really see any signs of this letting up until, I mean, it's still a ways away. We still have at least a couple more weeks of this. All right, so that leading edge is now pushing into Westchester Valley, Deer Grove, right along Interstate 20 there, right along Interstate 20. The city of Duncanville is all heading towards Cedar Hill, Mansfield, Midlothian, Venus, Waxahachie. All those areas are in the path of this damaging supercell that had destructive hail earlier. Now it's down to either quarter to golf ball size hail at times. But pretty big hail swath that left right over, that really originated just south of Flower Mound there. We had a report that came out of South Lake. We had some bigger hail that went through Colleyville, the Bedford region. 2 confirmed baseball-sized hail reports in Hearst and Bedford. Those are by ground spotters. Looks like we also had fairly significant hail in Colleyville. And this whole edge has been showing signs of some rotation on the south side. And even now it's showing another pronounced inflow notch trying to get its act together again, right as it's crossing Interstate 20 there and Highway 360. All right, so y'all are confirming right now it is hailing in Arlington. Yeah, so that was that hail core that went right over Arlington. It has shrunk, so this one definitely has shrunk in size, but now the leading edge is New York Avenue, Mayfield Drive. There is Interstate 20 there. East Arbrook. It looks like Great Southwest Parkway is likely getting some larger hail. I'm right on the line of Arlington and East section just off of Lancaster. It's looking nasty. Yeah, very torrential rains happening right now. Still pouring pretty big in Arlington. You know, people were asking me about the airport. It looks like it has now calmed down at the airport. So it's only a matter of time before they going to be probably lifting the ground stop there. And I don't really see anything behind it. Hey, Burleson, Texas, how are you doing? Storming up in Chicago. So yeah, we do have a couple warnings up there. South of Aurora, coming out of Pura. Some 1/4-inch hail. There's been pockets of some 1/4-inch hail near Davenport here. Looks like that's just southwest of the Chicago region. Hey, Hope. Hey, you're welcome. No problem. We still have that severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock. Hey, sirens going off in Arlington, according to my friend there. All right, so let's go back to the yeah, so here's the system. Look, it's showing that hook again, right? I mean, we've been watching this whole line on just on the left side there. So again, it's showing some rotation on the western side where we're starting to see a little bit pronounced hook again. So maybe a wall cloud's trying to reform again. This is crossing over Interstate 20 there. This is crossing over Interstate 20, heading towards Deer Grove. So this is heading towards the Deer Grove region. But it definitely appears there's likely some circulation trying to form just south of Arlington there. There's 62 miles an hour. You know, these winds are increasing right now. So the area of concern is just south of the Southland Acres. And 157, Southland Acres and 157, Green Oaks Boulevard, Sublet Road, Barden Road. It definitely appears there is some rotation trying to form on this western side of Wester Valley here. This is all heading towards Mansfield, Britain, and Cedar Hill. So if you're watching me from Cedar Hill and DeSoto, I would keep on high alert of this developing, rotating supercell that's heading towards Joe Pool Lake. Sirens going off in Duncanville. Sirens are going off in Duncanville right now. So we could have a developing tornado as we speak, folks. This is getting a little bit more pronounced. We're definitely starting to see the winds trying to pick up here right along 157. We are seeing some 62-mile-per-hour winds at times. Yeah, so this is a severe thunderstorm warning that came out of Arlington and about 13 minutes ago, but it's now showing a little bit more signs of rotation with this supercell. So we're getting confirmation of some warnings going off in the city of Duncanville. Hey, Misty, man, you've had a busy week. Yes, and I think it's only going to get busier here. Oh, sorry. What did I do? All right, this whole area is just on the leading edge. This whole leading edge is all right, 71 miles an hour. So it looks like these winds, 82 miles an hour, folks. We might have something here, folks. We might have a developing tornado. 105. Is that accurate? 107. All right, we could have a tornado on the ground, folks. Yeah, I'm picking up some pretty intense velocity scans just south of I-20, Southland Acres. This is the area that I'm concerned about. Barton Road, Jupiter Drive, Nathan Lowe Drive, Sublet Road. We're definitely getting some higher velocity scans pull in now, 91 miles an hour, 109 miles an hour. So this could be a tornado drop-in. Yeah, so you see the correlation coefficient. So there's definitely matches up with the velocity scans here. So we could have a developing tornado as we speak, folks. Yeah, very concerned about this supercell right here. Yeah, so this cell is dropping some golf ball size hail, but it's showing a lot of rotation right now. Yeah, the area of concern is just south of 157. It's just south of 157. They mentioned the sirens are going off in the city of Duncanville. It's right on the the western side of this hook shape that's showing up on reflectivity view. So Cedar Hill, Britain, DeSoto, Duncanville, Oakleaf, Midlothian, Pecan Hill. We could have a developing tornado here. Yeah, so they're saying the sirens are going off in Duncanville. The radar is still seeing 2-inch hail. That was just about 7 minutes ago. Yeah, I don't know how many people are actually on this storm since it is Memorial Day. But you see this massive hell swath right here. Look at all those numbers. That is all hell, folks. Man, at times it looks like it's going to drop a tornado, and at times it just really fizzles out. All right, so this is your area of concern here. We're still seeing some, 70-mile-per-hour winds, 60, 70-mile-per-hour winds here. So this continues to move south of Arlington, south of I-20 now. This is all heading towards the city of Mansfield, Britain, Cedar Hill. So again, we're just watching this one little supercell that's going right over the heart of the Metroplex as we speak. It has laid down some pretty significant hail in its path. This thing is small, but it is mighty. It looks like even the further south one has also subsided. Hey, it seems like this tornado season has been more deadly for storms and more people injured in the past. It's very active. It ranks kind of right up there in 2011. We're way above average for this time of year. Yeah, this season has been right on par with 2011 so far. Yeah, unfortunately, the other day, I think we had in multiple states, there was either 19 or 20 fatalities between Texas and Arkansas, and there were a couple other states. But yeah, just a lot of bad storms, folks. Yeah, the siren stopped. It definitely looked pretty scary there for a second. It definitely is not looking as pronounced as it was. This has been showing a history of that. But we'll continue to keep an eye on this storm. Yeah, the main setup today was going to be that larger hail. Remember, this is a severe thunderstorm watch. It's not a tornado watch. So it's not like the same setup that we had the other night. This is mainly a large hail threat with some embedded isolated tornado or two. Gustier winds. We have seen some reports of 60, 65 mile per hour winds. But it's mainly just been the larger hail and the heavier rains. It's moving 20 miles an hour. So this one's moving southeast at 20 miles an hour. Yeah, southeast at 20 miles an hour with this supercell. So it's heading towards Midlothian, Waxahachie. All right, so there you go. You had some 1.5 inch hails in Mansfield, 3 miles northeast of Mansfield. So that's the leading edge of the hail core. You can see very torrential rains right now over Deer Grove. This is heading towards fairways of Walnut Creek. So Mansfield's going to be in the path. Britain, the leading edge is heading towards DeSoto as well as Cedar Hill. It looks like they let that tornado warning did expire in Pennsylvania. The storms in North Carolina has moved out into the Atlantic. We've got about 12 severe thunderstorm warnings. Most of the ones in Georgia right now are borderline severe. Yeah, a couple severe thunderstorm warnings and one's at Madison, New York here. Yeah, 60 mile per hour winds, some quarter size hail potential. Yeah, so the severe thunderstorm watch goes until 10 o'clock. So that's again another two more hours. Chat's not moving. It's moving to me. The chat is not moving much. Hey, is there going to be hail in Mansfield? Yeah, so it's mainly moving. It's mainly moving southeast. You can see it Mansfield. I got it highlighted for you. Yeah, there's probably going to be a leading edge of some hail. The main hail core looks like to be just to your right. Yeah, the main hail core looks to fall under fairways of Walnut Creek, Monticello, in between Mansfield and Britain. Did you see the footage from that gas station? Yeah, that was pretty severe. Yeah, that one confirmed 135. Very high end EF2 there. The one in Salina was confirmed EF3, right? High end EF3. And those are preliminary. Okay, it looks like we had some, reported 3.2 inch, folks. Northeast. That's even bigger. That's the biggest hail confirmed on the ground. 3.25 inches earlier coming out of 2 miles northeast of Arlington. That's easily the biggest hail of the day. That was actually confirmed by a storm spotter. 3.25 inches just northeast of the Arlington region. That was about 15 minutes ago when that hail core was coming in. But that's where the hail core is right now, folks. It's right over Lynn Creek's Hill, Berkeley Square, Deer Cove, Lakeside, the Cove. Those areas are likely getting some of that larger hail now. Watson Road, this is right along Highway 360. Continues to move southeast. Yeah, it looks like it's trailing right along Highway 360 there. Yeah, all those numbers are hail. That is your hail swath, folks. Hey, Randall, golf ball. Hey, my wife sent me pictures of golf ball size hail in Roanoke. Picton, Texas, Tyler Bain. Cassidy, HEB in Frisco. No, I was not. I'm just checking my messenger. Megan, John. David, softball game tonight. Tammy, Mark. Hey, I appreciate all the storm picks, folks. Yeah, keep on sending them as long as it's safe to send. I'd love to see it. You can either message me or you can send it through the email, through the app, the PAL Weather app. But yeah, the tornado watch, the severe thunderstorm watch basically came to fruition, folks. It had the capability of producing up to 3.5 inch hail, and we've had confirmation right there outside of Arlington. The atmosphere reached 3.25 inches. That is some significant hail. So a lot of hail damage coming out of Colleyville, Bedford, Euless, the Arlington region. That area got hit hard tonight. Looks like there's trying to be new activity that's actually trying to form over Justin and the Flower Mound region. This was an area that got hit. Again, we have the warm front. There's the warm front still out there. And so, yeah, you're getting renewed development right along that front there. Some heavier rains starting towards Springtown. Coming out of Justin and the Rome region and as well as into Flower Mound. Still watching this gust front if it's going to form anything outside of Weatherford, coming out of Benbrook. That's just on the other side of the radar here. We're getting close to the radar site. Yeah, this is the Fort Worth radar that's in Burleson here. Hey, sirens going off in Cedar Hill. So yeah, just probably using precautions. This leading edge has been showing signs of rotation at times. Or again, they could be going off for baseball size hail, folks. Remember, they changed that. It's not just for tornado anymore. It's for hail up to 2.75 inches or greater, and significant winds of 75 miles an hour or greater. So it's likely going off for the larger hail potential, because we have confirmation, numerous stones of 2.7 inches or greater. So it could be going off for that, or it could be going off for the leading edge that, it's been showing us signs of rotation on the left side. Hey, I'm in Carrollton. It rained like an hour ago and it didn't last very long. Hey, sent you video of a Walmart in Hearst had skylights busted out. Hey, appreciate it, Clayton. Oh, that was that baseball size hail that came in. Oh yeah, they have skylights at that Walmart. Yeah, baseball size hail is going to do some significant damage. Yeah, very significant damage to all your cars out there and homes. That's pretty much destructive. That's going to take out more than just a roof or a car. It's going to take out an air condition, some fences, really anything in its wake, patio furniture, anything baseball size hail hits is going to do a lot of damage. Hey, appreciate it, Clayton. All right, so it continues to move southbound, folks. Looks like the hail core has been continued to shrink in size. It's not as widespread as it was earlier, but it's really confined right there along 360 there, right there along 360. All right, let's look at this storm town by Springtown. All right, looks like some heavier rains are trying to reform again. They're outside of Rome, right along 114. Into Flower Mound again by that warm front. Hey, Billy. This is Radar Omega. Hey, we should be in the clear in Crowley and Burleson area, right? Just about. At least of this one little supercell. I mean, you got to see, just again, you're still under that severe thunderstorm watch until 10. If any of this might turn severe, it's going to be turning south again. But at least from this one little cell, it's definitely not moving your way. In Burleson. Sirens just stopped in Cedar Hill, Marcus. Hey, Alameda, you're getting some nickel-sized hail. And the Mansfield area, hail cleared out, sun came out, went out for a walk, then started pouring again in Bartonsville. Yeah, this is yeah, if we zoom in here, this is yeah, Bartonsville, Double Oak, Flower Mound. Yeah, that sun came out, destabilized the atmosphere again in an unstable environment, and just boom, overturned the atmosphere. Doesn't take much when you got an open atmosphere like that. Hey, you're welcome, Kristen. All right, so now that leading edge of that heavier rain is go over Joe Pool Lake now and to Cedar Hill, Cedar View coming out of Deer Grove. The leading edge is hitting Britain, Avila, Oakleaf. Yeah, if anything, that looks like it's actually shrunk in size as well. But the activity towards Springtown, we're getting some lightning strikes. That's always a sign that it's starting to strengthen now. This is an area that hasn't really seen anything. So the atmosphere has not really been worked over out there. So we'll watch this and see if it comes to anything. Look at that. Look at the cloud top on that. All right, so 42,000 feet. So we're getting there. Actually going back to 42,000 feet out of Bartonsville now. Hey, I'll be back in a second, guys. All right, you may have discussed it already, but the damage in Valleyville Sanger has been upgraded to a low end. Oh, EF3. No, I haven't actually, Clayton. Hey, appreciate that report. Did not know that yet. Yeah, so he was talking about the one earlier that was confirmed a strong EF2 at 125. The one in Valley View has now been upgraded to a low end EF3. So they possibly bumped up the winds. And that usually happens with some of these ratings, that they have the first initial National Weather Service team go out there and assess the damage and gives it like a preliminary rating. Then you always go back to get the official rating. So that's usually the process on how they. It's always the preliminary rating first, and then they always have some wiggle room to adjust. But it definitely takes a while to survey all the damage. I was actually went out to Salina today to look at some of the damage myself, and it was just a lot going on. I mean, they got their work cut out for them to try to figure out the path of these storms. I mean, I went all the way through Melissa, Anna. It was just north of the FM 455 there. But yeah, they'll be doing surveys for probably likely several more days before we get the actual final outcome of what all unfolded the other night. All right, so the leading edge is now heading towards Midlothian, but it definitely appears this system has kind of compacted. It's not as intense, and it's not as big as it was earlier. And even the hell cores really shrunk drastically. I mean, it's left a pretty significant mark for a long period of time. So it's actually a good sign that this is actually trying to pulse down. Look at that hell core. I mean, look at that. This is all hell with this supercell. So this is a good sign that it's only this now. I mean, that is definitely a good sign that is now finally starting to come down there. So the one further south has fizzled out in central Texas. There ain't not much happening. In fact, can't get too much in Mexico, but yeah, it's hailing in Mexico, actually. Yeah, they're actually known for some pretty big hail just on the other side of the border. So not that out of the ordinary. Remember, this whole area is just crazy warm, very, very humid. Things actually might be coming to an end, hopefully. Yeah, the next area I'm a little concerned about is the one towards Springtown. That is definitely showing some deeper reds trying to develop now. Right outside of Highway 199 there. This one is just south of Bridgeport. Hasn't really had any activity tonight, so it's got a little bit more unstable environment to work with. Hey, Randall, Cedar Hill seems to have calmed down. Hey, determined the Fortsburg to Pilot Point tornado was an EF3 with maximum winds of 140 now. The tornado was down for 48 miles. Wow. 48 miles for an hour and 33 minutes. Trying to find it myself. Okay, I'm seeing it now. Wow. All right. All right, so this area down up towards Justin and Roanoke and Flower Mound. This is in North Texas. If we zoom out right along this warm front here. Yeah, very heavy rain flowing out of that system. Yeah, here's the heavy rain tonight, folks. Some of these areas have picked up a pretty good soaking. Looks like Flower Mound a good 1 to 2 inches. Just that maybe that one supercell. Yeah, 1 to 2 inches. Louisville, Grapevine Lake, South Lake, Grapevine. About 1.5 inches there. Out of Bedford, Euless. This is on top of the hill. But it's really just been that one little supercell. So we had a cell over Dallas for a while. That was a pretty slow mover to start it out. Yeah, this is what started it all. Had a 2-inch report over Hutchinson, Texas around 5:39. That was between Hutchins and Wilmer. Had a 2-inch hail report. That died off, and then the new activity formed around Flower Mound, and that left the devastating hailstones around Euless, Hurst, 2.75 inches. We had one over Arlington, 3.25. So we've definitely had some destructive hail tonight. But it definitely appears this severe thunderstorm warning has now, I mean, it's basically come down substantially. That's likely probably going to expire in 5 minutes, really. There's not much hail left at all. Yeah, there's no tornado warnings happening anywhere in the United States right now. You can see the sun going down on my radar. Hey, windshield is broke and I'm only visiting here, so I don't think I got insurance even on it. And two of the people who live by where, yeah, I mean your insurance should cover it. It should roll over. Here we go again in Flower Mound. Well, luckily this time it's not severe. It's just some heavier rains. But it does appear it has come back again in Roanoke, Rome, Justin, Flower Mound, Bartonsville. A little bit more significant out towards Boyd and Springtown. That's definitely getting some heavier rains near Agnes. It's drifting right along the 199 corridor there. Now here's the zoomed out version, folks. We got one severe thunderstorm warning in Georgia. This is outside of Dothan, sorry. Right outside of Dothan, Georgia. That one's also going to expire in a couple of minutes. It's not even severe anymore, actually. It just hadn't expired yet. And this activity continues to move across outside of Washington, D.C. This is in Indianapolis, heading towards Dover. You can see the leading edge of the outflow here. These are mainly wind events. It's not really hail out here. It's just mainly stronger winds. Yeah, these winds are likely 40, 50, and borderline 60 mile per hour in some pockets. Yeah, that one continues to push eastbound. Yeah, here was the cell that came out earlier that produced some 70 mile per hour winds right outside of Virginia Beach. We had a couple severe thunderstorms in New Orleans earlier that now that's, again, moved out in the open waters. We had some 50 mile per hour winds reported outside of Chicago, south of Davenport. 1-inch hail report out of north of Davenport here. But yeah, this is another cell that's likely just borderline severe south of Aurora. So yes, things are kind of starting to wind down for the evening, it appears to me. Hey, so now that it's wind down, let me switch gears and look at some of these convective models. I want to see what's actually trying to come in the overnight. All right, so here it is, 11 o'clock. This is just the latest high resolution guidance. It did update about 8:30, so it's actually still trying to update. But yeah, things are starting to calm down. So we're probably going to be in the winding down phase of activity. But like I mentioned earlier, in one of my earlier posts, we did have some low level winds. This low level jet was going to get pretty active around after midnight towards the Red River. And that's going to produce a little bit stronger updrafts, going to cause the air to overturn. And it definitely appears we might have some more activity in the overnight hours around the Red River region into Oklahoma. This till 5 o'clock in the morning, through 5 o'clock in the morning. But that activity is finally, well, dang it. That activity is finally likely going to win out and is going to push further south. So this is 5, and likely by, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning. So 8 o'clock in the morning, that activity is going to finally move out of Oklahoma. And as we head towards 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're probably going to get renewed activity that's finally going to push out of Oklahoma. And we could have some stronger storms push back into the DFW Metroplex, moving from north to south back in through the heart of the Metroplex. So by 9 or 10 o'clock, we could be dealing with some stronger thunderstorms. They're just kind of a complex of storms. So tomorrow is a little bit more widespread. It's a bigger event. It's a little bit more widespread event. It's a longer duration event. This isn't like an isolated event that we dealt with tonight. This is a widespread event happening to tomorrow that's going to last kind of off and on pretty much, I would say off and on all day. So there's a complex of morning storms that could move through the heart of the Metroplex. They're going to leave its own larger hail, some damaging winds swath through through this complex of storms. It's going to move through around the lunchtime hour. Then as we head towards 2 o'clock, again, just get these waves of rain. This one moves out. Another one likely probably moves in. So we have the morning and the afternoon complex, and then we have the dry line set up out west, and this would likely continue to move east as well. So it's going to be a stormy day for a good part of the Metroplex and really a good part of Texas. It doesn't go beyond there because it hasn't updated yet. But nonetheless, we appear to be on the winding down phase of what's happening tonight. Yeah, it looks like they went ahead and let that severe thunderstorm warning expire. Yeah, so let's go back to the radar. So they that severe thunderstorm warning that we were dealing with has now expired. Yeah, so just the leading edge is starting to wind down south of Monticello, outside of Britain. Hey, Steven, how are you doing? Hey, appreciate you tuning in. Hey, Cassie. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything's going to hit Allen for tonight. More activity moves in tomorrow morning. Hey, Michelle. Yes, yes, we did have that confirmed tornado in Pennsylvania earlier. Yeah, we were on it for a little bit. But really, I think things are winding down for pretty much everybody. There's only one severe thunderstorm warning left in the entire United States, folks. No tornado warnings. Everything's calmed down over the metroplex of Dallas and much of central Texas. So we have that severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 10. But to me, there's probably not going to be anything else. I doubt this activity in Springtown does form. So we're probably done for the evening, folks. So we got through most of it. We did have some pretty significant hail. Had a lot of damage tonight. Yeah, let me show you the hail swath before I sign off here. All right, so here's your hail swath tonight. I mean, pretty much had to really just kind of two supercells. Again, it's mainly been two supercells, but it left some pretty good significant hail in its wake. Really from Flower Mound to Roanoke to Keller. The biggest hail started to come to fruition out towards Colleyville, especially in Bedford, out of Euless and Arlington, Hearst, Tarrant. They all had really significant hail. The biggest hail came out of south of Arlington, 3.2 inches there. But that hail core traveled right south, right along Highway 360. Couple golf ball size hail reports out of Deer Grove. And then we started this evening. We had a supercell that highlighted this is what started the severe thunderstorms outside of Dallas. And these tailed southeast. So they had some 1 and 2 inch reports. This one was by the city of Hutchinson's, in between Wilmer and Hutchins. And then we also had something down further south out towards Fredericksburg. Pretty good little hail swath. That one actually went northeast, and you see the northeast trajectory did not actually pick up significant hail. It was those south and southeast movers. But yeah, biggest hail of the night was, in fact, there's one over Bedford, 2.75, Euless, 2.75, and we also had Arlington, 3.2. So we had a lot of damage over a heavily populated area. All right, guys, I think we're done with the severe storms for the evening. I think we're going to go into a calmer period for the night. So I think everything's going to be winding down. There's no severe thunderstorm warnings anymore. So as we were looking for tomorrow, we're going to have another renewed threat. It looks like the first wave of activity comes through tomorrow morning, probably after rush hour, likely towards the 9-10 o'clock time frame. Going to be a swath of complex comes out of Oklahoma. That's a daytime event. And then we're likely going to have some more rain push through later tomorrow night as well, coming in from West Texas. So I'll update in the morning. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks for watching out there to live coverage on Facebook and YouTube. Appreciate all those followers, the supporters, the everything for. All right, guys. Appreciate you watching. Y'all be safe. All right. Have a good night. Bye, y'all.